I wonder what he's doing over there. He's burning trash, I believe. Or maybe brush, actually, because that's a pretty big one. But that looks like that's his little shanty back there. I know they said they sold that land across the street and he had about 2 or 3 weeks to get out, so I wonder if he's burning down his shanty. Look at those colors, guys. Look at those colors. Ooh-wee, it's a brisk, cool morning this morning, guys. I think we're gonna have an early fall. Anyway, so that sunrise with those reds and purples, that's indicative of a fall Texas sky. Also in the evenings too. So it doesn't look like the gentleman across the street burned down his shanty last night like I thought. His shanty's still back there, but guys, we sure hate that he's gonna be moving on. Taking my morning stroll, checking my greens. Boy, that bok choy is really liking these cool nights. And I am letting those taters go, guys. Celery's really kicking in. Get in here and get these little weeds. My lettuces are liking this. The tomato trying to come up over here. The celery, we'll go ahead and get that. More lettuces, my arugula. Yeah, the cool weather at night is really very beneficial to my plants in here. Miss Bear's out here helping me do some weeding this morning. You see. So I'm going to sow some more carrot seeds today. Going through, we're checking for those white flies, guys. See if, oh yeah. That neem oil did anything to them yesterday, so after I water today, I'm gonna give everything a good douse again. Let's check these cabbages over here. There's still some, but I think the neem for the next several days is probably going to knock those out. Look at that, guys, 61 degrees. That's quite cool for this time of year already. So if you've been watching, you know that we don't like bare soil because that opens the door for weeds and all kinds of things. And we want to feed our soil, even in our tubs, the good bacteria. So what am I doing this morning? I'm going ahead and transplanting some of my little lettuces. This is the little gem, and I'm going to put it in because this broccoli here is going to take a while before it even gets close to being done. And these guys will be ready in about 25 days. So we have plenty of time to put lettuce in these pots with these other plants that are growing and help them to come to fruition. Same for the cabbage. Now you can see my cabbage is looking pretty good in here, and Greg's getting ready to come in here and spray for a bacteria. He's going to use a copper bactericide because we did see some disease on some of our radishes. So we're going to go ahead and spray this today with that, and I'll get back on my neem spraying tomorrow. But look, so keep your soil healthy, guys, by keeping plants in it. Okay, so I've got my cauliflower, my cabbage, and broccoli tubs supplemented with some little lettuces. So we invested in some tomcats yesterday that has poison on the inside of it. Put 2 out. Greg checked this one this morning and said some of it was already nibbled. So I think those vermins had some dinner last night that might be not settling with them this morning. I'm getting some buds on my dragon tongues beans. I hope that I get some, guys. Again, only if, I hope I get some to eat, but I'll take it if I get a couple that I can harvest seeds from. I think I heard a vermin. My ginger is finally starting to come up. So I'll let this go until probably we start to get really cool and maybe even cold. But yeah, this little greenhouse is starting to look quite filled up, and it'll look even better in the weeks to come. So I know it's not recommended to companion plant lettuce with broccoli or your brassicas, but from what I understand, it stops the seeds from germinating. Well, what I planted today, the seeds were already germinated. What do I have to lose? Really nothing. So we'll see what happens and update you guys and see how it works. Woo, been a busy morning. So several years back, I did a video on canning bone broth. I made a big batch. We had a wonderful woman post on one of our local Facebook pages that they had their cow processed and had bones. Anybody want them? And I was like, yes, I do. So not only did I want them for bone broth, which is brilliant, especially for this time of year, but I did for my doggies too, because they're very good for the dogs and they enjoy them. And whenever they can't go outside, I usually give them one, and it keeps them occupied for a couple of hours. But getting ready to can some bone broth, beef bone broth. So I'll go ahead and put the link below of those videos. They're really old, guys. They're right when I first started my channel. You all may have already seen them. But bone broth is rich in collagen and rich in vitamins and nutrients. And gosh, we put everything in it. We put celery and onions and carrots and garlic and bay leaves and just a little splash of apple cider vinegar and of course the bones. And this made a brilliant dark bone broth. Whew. Does that not look delicious? So it is a lengthy process. It takes probably about 4 days total. You cook it for 48 to 72. Then you put it in the refrigerator overnight. The fat comes to the top, and then you're able to just peel it right off. So I picked the okra this morning, planted some more carrots, put my lettuces in. I'll probably start some seeds tomorrow. I'm holding off on putting any more items in the ground out there. I did put a couple where we had the vermin damage. I put a couple out there, and then Greg sprayed them just in case it was grasshopper damage, but I'm pretty certain it's vermin. And then we're going to put some sprinkle stuff around it that's supposed to be a deterrent. We also have some big, tall, clear solo cups coming that we'll put on top of those at night if it looks like we continue to have issues, to kind of protect them and seal them until they start getting a little bit bigger and they can fend for themselves. I also have a pork roast in my Instapot. One of those pork roasts I bought yesterday, guys, at Brookshire's. And I'm going to try pulled pork, and I'll tell you really quick how I did it. I just took the pork roast out, seasoned it really good with, and I use steak seasoning. And then I put a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and I put a little bit of liquid smoke in there, and then water, just enough to give it a good steam. And I put slits in the pork roast and stuck little slivers of garlic in it. So we're going to see how that turns out. I'll let you know. Instapot is great because it's done like within an hour, hour and a half. And that pulled pork, you know, I said yesterday in my video that pork roast would last us probably 2 meals. Well, since we're making a pulled pork out of it, it's going to last us much longer. And we'll just pop that on some buns. And I made some homemade potato salad yesterday. I guess I'll have to do a video for that too. And yeah, so that's what we'll be having. And Greg's going to put some ribs on too. So we try to cook a little ahead of time because, you know, gosh, it's just so tiring right now. Even though it's nice and cool in the high tunnels, it's warm. But trying to work on my stamina and getting it built up so that I can continue go. And my favorite spot, waiting on that bone broth to hook up so I can pop it in the canner. But yeah, we're trying to do everything we can, guys, to stay ahead, 1 step ahead, maybe 2. Like to be about 10 steps ahead, but the environment and the climate is changing so drastically in our world that if I have some extra time and have some things going on, I want to go ahead and try to get it done. Papa's doing well. He's liking his home back there. This morning he mowed a little strip of yard out in front of our front yard fence. And that's good for him. It helps him to get some exercise and keeps him active. And then he's been helping us pull the weeds and get the high tunnel ready for planting. And he's really enjoying that, I think, especially now since the temperatures are much cooler than they were. Many of you have suggested cats for our little rodent problem that's going on, but we have Miss Bear, who's a German Shepherd, and Hank, who we got right at 3 years ago, and they really don't tolerate any other animal unless we introduce them. And Greg is highly allergic to cats, so we can't really bring a cat in the house and to try to get the dogs acclimated. And I'm not going to leave the poor thing outside to fend for itself. And we used to have feral cats, but we had a neighbor years ago that I think trapped many of them, and so we lost the majority of our cats. Boy, we'd give anything to still have them, because some of them did get acclimated to our animals. So you're probably noticing that we're not afraid to think outside the box on our planting, like trying the lettuces with the brassicas as long as they've already germinated and have little plants. And I'm going to try to do some sweet potatoes in the high tunnels over the winter, at least maybe keep them going. We're trying a little bit of everything. We got that harvest dryer. We're fixing to start cranking that up, and I'm going to start making my teas from my Tower of Power and my herbs, and do some freeze-dried herbs. But I tell you what, we freeze-dried some beets, and we put a tablespoon of beet powder in our smoothies every morning, for each of us. And guys, I'm telling you, that stuff is some good stuff. We also have beet greens and kale. And we have freeze-dried onions, and we've done all kinds of things with that harvest right. We just hadn't been using it for about the last 8 weeks because it's been so very hot, and it does heat up our house, and we end up having to run the air conditioner really low all night long just to stay cool. So that freeze dryer has really been a lifesaver for us on preserving a lot of our foods and making our powders that we put in our smoothies, which is absolutely brilliant, and making my herbal teas. We are just about ready to start ladling this into some jars and put it in the pressure canner. This really doesn't take that long, guys. Probably about 20 minutes, 25 minutes for a quart. We're going to be using pints, so I'm probably going to do it for about 20, 22 minutes. But it is shelf stable, and in fact, I've used bone broth that I canned years ago here recently, and it was just fine. Talk about a flu and cold remedy, guys. This stuff is super power. So I'm going to start putting these in my canner, and we're going to process these. Look how dark and rich that is. Ooh, got that all sealed up. Have about that much left, and I made me a little cup right there that I'm fixing to enjoy. So guys, we have loaded this thing up 2 tiers, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to can this at 11 pounds for about 20-22 minutes. So this is an excellent base for French onion soup, for your beef stews, for anything that calls for beef broth, or again, just a sip. Now you don't have to can bone broth or even your own beef broth, vegetable broth, chicken broth, whatever you decide to make, maybe in your crock pot or your Instapot, because you can just pop it in some ball jars and freeze it. We have frozen chicken broth in there because I didn't have time to can it. And guys, it works just fantastic, but we wanted to diversify in our pantry and make sure that we have things that don't need to be refrigerated. Had a pint left, or a quart, excuse me, and I'm just gonna pop this in the fridge. Greg thinks he's gonna make beef bourguignon on Wednesday. So I saw an interview, I'm watching my thing over here. I saw an interview on one of the major network news saying that turkeys were gonna be $6 a pound for Thanksgiving due to the bird flu and transportation cost. Guys, I don't believe it. But if you do see turkeys on sale or something, you might want to go ahead and pick one up. Certainly if it's less than $6 a pound. I'm going to wait until probably October, maybe the 1st of November, to kind of see what's going on. And if the stores do their normal sales, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up 2, and I'm going to make sure that I have 2 or 1 in my freezer at all times. So a couple of things that we keep on hand at all times is a brisket if it's on sale, a ham, a turkey, and whole chickens, because that will go a long ways in a roast. That will go a long ways in the event that something happens and you need some meals. Let me check this here. I need to turn it up a little bit. And you need to have some meals for maybe a larger group. So you can also cook the ham and the turkey and the roast beast, and you can shave them up and vacuum pack them or put them in freezer bags and have sandwich meat for a very long time. Learn how to make some breads too, guys, and a beer bread, which I did a video on beer bread. I'm going to try to put all of these down below. Super easy. You need a can of beer and some flour, but super easy. And then you'll have bread. Just keep a 6-pack of beer. It doesn't matter. You can get the cheapest kind and make you some beer bread. So these are all ideas that I'm constantly tossing in my head to kind of hedge off some things. Like I said, we try to stay 5, 10, 50 feet ahead. You know, things are changing so quickly, but I have to watch this dial over here. So there are many ways that you can become more self-sustaining, or at least have a good menu for your family in trying times. And guys, honestly, it's just healthier for us. It's just so much healthier for us. And I'm going to tell you something that I shouldn't tell you. That's my pulled pork now going off. So I got my canner over here and my pulled pork going over there. So we have DoorDash, believe it or not, way out here. But last week or the week before, we were tired. We had been outside all day. I really didn't want to cook. It was hot inside. So I did DoorDash and I did Whataburger for me and Greg and Pop. Guys, that was $55. We won't be doing DoorDash anymore. So buying and keeping certain things in your pantry, you can pretty much whip up any meal. I mean, and those things are like your broths and flours and eggs and milk, of course, and certain beefs, certain seasonings, noodles, ground beef, tomato sauce. I can take any of those things out of my pantry and make something that's pretty tasty. In fact, I even made some chicken enchiladas with a can of that Troyer canned chicken that has a long shelf life. Now, it's expensive, guys, but it made the best chicken enchiladas, and they were delicious. So I'll have to do a video on that too and show you how well those turned out. But it was just that can of chicken, a can of Rotel, sour cream, a little bit of flour, butter, and corn tortillas, and they were delicious. Better than anything I've had at any of our Mexican restaurants here locally. And trust me, I know you're tired after work. That's why we'll make several meals ahead, so all we have to do is heat it up. Sunday used to be my day for that. Now I'm kind of doing it on a free day during the week, and we really eat pretty well. Hey, maybe we should do a video and we should do a grocery list on what we can make, and then we can do videos during the week to show you guys. That might be an idea. Y'all let me know if you like that idea. So I know I've given you guys a lot of tips today, and you've just kind of walked through my day with me to get an understanding of how my mind works and what's going on the farm and what's going on in the kitchen. I hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed visiting with you, honestly. And like I said in one of my previous videos, we're a community, and I love how you support one another in your comments and stuff. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to give you some tips and let you know how things go here. Daily chores, daily thoughts, because my mind's all over the place, guys. I'm a very proactive person. I'm not a reactive person at all. And if I'm in a reactive state, that's not good. Here's a gander at it, guys. You can see the garlic. I think I'm gonna put it on for about another 10 or 15 minutes. I want it to be extra tender. Yeah, see, for it to be pulled pork, you need to really see it shredding, and it's not there yet. Actually, I'm gonna put it on for another 30 minutes. And the home stretch on that canning in there. So in my younger years, guys, I worked at Taco Plaza, was my very first job, which is now Taco Bell. Whataburger, Schlotzsky's, Pizza Inn. I can make all of those things except for the sourdough bread at Schlotzsky's. I need to learn how to make that. But anyway, so I really gear some of our meals, our comfort meals, towards some of those things. Like I made a mean burrito supreme years ago. I did a video on that too. But it was just like Taco Bell's, but it was my home cooking. Another tip I want to give you is, look guys, we buy olive oil in these tins, and this is 6.34 pints, 3 liters, and we use this, and it stores very well in the tin because olive oil needs to be dark. And if anybody needs any, I can just pour some in a bottle for my daughter or whatever. But this was way more cost effective than buying the really good olive oil in the grocery stores. I don't know, for $9 or $10. This was, I think, $50 off Amazon. Oh, timer is on. It's time to turn off this and let it sit. So I think I probably talked your ear off today, but that's what my day looks like. That's how my mind works. I just wanted to give you guys some tips to try to help you out in these very trying and troubling times, and just visit with you. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up so I know whether we need to continue doing these tips of the trade, tips videos. If not, then I understand. I did talk a whole lot. Take care. God bless. Have a wonderful day.